If you drop dead tomorrow, they would just find another warm body to replace you, and maybe that person wouldn't care as much or wouldn't do a good as job as you. But like honestly, they don't really care.
When they ask people on their deathbed, like, what's a regret that you have? And people say,
At the end of the day, we all have 24 hours, right? And it's like, I want to grow my practice. I want to do more on social media and grow my personal brand. But then
what do you recommend for people like us or anyone listening when you're trying to find that balance in so many ways and there isn't that endpoint in sight, but you're still trying to be successful, right? Because we're still trying to have a career, but be a loving mom and a loving wife, and you be a friend and a daughter and a sister.
Yeah. No, that's a very insightful question. I think the answer lies somewhere in assessing your priorities, because at the end of the day, we all have 24 hours, right? And it's like, I want to grow my practice. I want to do more on social media and grow my personal brand. But then that comes at the expense of like not spending family time or doing things like that. And at some point, like something has to give. And what I realized about my work, because I used to pour everything into my work. I was our assistant program director. I worked all the time. I took extra cases. I did extra training. I was like faculty of the year. Like I just poured everything into work. And then when I got pregnant and needed to go on bed rest, and I asked like a couple of favors of people, they were like not that supportive. And I just felt so hurt that I felt like I had put so many coins in my karma bank. And when it was time for me to make a withdrawal, like it wasn't there. And it hurt me a great deal. And I talked to my mentor about it. And she basically said, like, your work, they don't really care that much about you. Like if you drop dead tomorrow, they would just find another warm body to replace you, and maybe that person wouldn't care as much or wouldn't do a good as job as you. But like honestly, they don't really care. And you're giving the best parts of yourself away to things outside your home, and you need to really reevaluate what matters to you. And that hit me so hard. And then I started to have a lot of like guilt and resentment, because I basically missed a lot of stuff from my children between their ages of like being born to 6 years old. And that's when I could have spent more time with them. And then of course they started first grade, and then I didn't need as much time. You know what I mean? And I was like mad at myself. Like I missed their first word. I missed their first steps. Like all that stuff happened during the day when I was in the OR. And I just thought, like, how am I going to restructure my life differently? So I asked to go part-time at work, and I really set the intention that my family is going to come first and not my work. Which, to be honest, before that, like I would say work probably came first and my family came second, because it was always like, you can disappoint your family. Like they'll wait on you. Like we were supposed to go out to eat dinner, but my spine case is running long. And yes, I could hand it off to someone, but we've lost a little blood. The airway was a little difficult. Like I should just stay and finish the case. So then I call my husband and I'm like, I'm just going to stay and finish this case. Like go eat dinner without me or whatever, and I realized that I was perpetually disappointing the people I loved most in this world while giving the best parts of myself externally. And then I come home and I'm like exhausted and cranky. You know what I mean? And I was like, I can't live like this anymore. So that was when I made the switch to go part-time, and like my family comes before anything else.
I love this answer so much.
Me too.
It makes me think about like, when they ask people on their deathbed, like, what's a regret that you have? And people say, I wish I didn't work so much.
Yes.
Like in the grand scheme of things, you have to think about what's the most important. And I love that you said, like, you set that intention. It's like, and you revolve your life around that. It's like your family, your loved ones, your community. And ultimately that's what's bringing like value into our lives. And those are the people who care about you. Like at work, yes, I'm sure we have like great relationships with people at work and whatnot, but in the long run, the people who mean the most to you and have the most value, it's like you want to give them your energy. That's where your energy, makes the most sense. So yeah, thank you for sharing that answer. I think it's such a great reminder for all of us.